and welcome back to another video in the Tiny Tech video series, which focuses on bits of technology that can be helpful in your professional life, teaching, doing the various tasks that we do in our offices, and also helping students with technology. Today I'm talking about Zotero. Zotero is a great resource I discovered recently in completing some work on a new chapter for a book. Someone threw this out there as a way of simplifying creating bibliographies, and I thought this could be a great thing to pass on to you. In particular, it might be useful if you're doing your own academic work, creating bibliographies to share with students, but even better, I think, is if you use it with your students to allow them to learn about important formatting rules that happens whether you're using Chicago Manual style, APA, or any number of other bibliographic formats out there. So let's jump on now and see how you could use Zotero, which is a totally free and open source program and application in your own professional work. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Zotero, which is a bibliography creation tool that I discovered working on a new project, a project for writing a chapter. And I was specifically told about this resource, and I thought this could be really cool because it's going to save me a little bit of time. So you have two options for Zotero, and just type in Zotero. It's zotero.org, not .com. When you get to it, you have two choices. One is simple, one is more complex. If you want the actual software version available for Mac and also for Windows, then you definitely would want to download it. And I'm going to see if I have it on my computer. I think I left it there. I indeed do, so I'll pull up that app. I ended up using the simple version just because this was too full-fledged for me, but you're welcome to use this. This is really going to be good. It's like almost like EndNote, if any of you used EndNote working on your graduate thesis, your master's thesis, dissertation. It's a way of collecting all your sources from the web, from all kinds of sources, newspapers, and formatting and making them available. So you don't have to like retype your bibliography or cut and paste specific, entries from your bibliography every time that you're writing a paper. So this is the full-fledged version, and it allows you to do a number of different things. So I really recommend this if you're doing a long thesis or a book or a publication that has hundreds of references, and particularly references that you'll use time and again. And by the way, cool thing about Zotero as we look at more the simple version now is this really allows you to share items with people. You can share various file formats. So what you're going to see, and this is just describing a little bit how it works, using the program, again, which we just looked at, the app, you can do organization, you can cite in any style you want, 9,000 different citation styles, which is crazy. I didn't even know there were that many. You can format your work to match any publication, and then you can sync across multiple devices. Again, this is fully free to use whatever version, so it's totally open source, not unlike GIMP for replacing Photoshop for graphic design in a free version. And as I said, you can collaborate as much as you want, and it's open source and nonprofit and all that kind of stuff. So very cool. So I'm going to show you now the simple version, which I recommend both for a short project you're working on and also for working with your students. So I was creating this bibliography for the chapter I did, and I had a ton of references actually, which is kind of crazy. But is this type of chapter. What I love about this is you can immediately format to all these different bibliographic styles. APA, the one I was using, Chicago Manual style, MLA, and literally you click on it and check that out. It changes it automatically. It is so darn fast. I'll go back to Chicago Manual because that's the one I typically use for most of my projects. So very cool because, again, everything is going to live here, and you don't even have to create an account. If you want multiple bibliographies, you can. This is just living on the web and remembered, I guess, through my cookies. What's cool about this is you can use this function here to add references. So let me show you how that works. We're going to go to Amazon, and I'm just going to pick, indulge me a little bit, I'll just use my Immersive Worlds book. Okay. And so what I would do here is just click. This is the way you're going to do things if you want specifically to use either the ISBN 13 or 10. So I found that 10 works well. So just go in here and cut and paste, copy that and paste on your keyboard or your mouse, and then go back to Zotero, paste it into here, and hit Cite. And we have immediately all this stuff copied. So I don't know about you, but in the old days, what I would do is I would go to Amazon, I would cut and paste this into my bibliography. I get out a Word document. This is the old way of doing things. When I discovered Zotero, I said, man, this is going to save all of us, including our students, a ton of time, and it's also going to be educational because what's cool about it is you learn the different styles as you work on it. So in the old days, I would go in and cut and paste stuff, and I would always have to, remove the formatting because it would link it, keep text only. Then I'd go in and I'd look for down here the date, and of course I know this because I wrote it. And then, focal press, what's the city of publication? So then I would go to here inside the book, and then I'd be like, okay, is the copyright page available? Oh, it is. Cool. Okay, New York, focal press. Okay, that's a ton of steps, and that's just getting it in a Word document. You have to then go through and format the thing, change it to the same font. You have to take out paragraph spacing, kill all the formatting, kill the bold. Then, I got to put it in the right format. So what is that? Okay, I'm going to do last name, first name, and then put in all the other information, New York, etc. So what I love about Zotero is you have to do 0 of that. So again, I just put in the ISBN 10, pops this out. Now, if there's some errors, and I'm not going to say it works in every case, I found quite a few actually it didn't work. So if there are some errors, what you could go in is go in and edit. And these are all the fields. You can customize fields. So if you're doing multiple authors, add another author right here. If you want to have an editor of a book, add it right here. If it's a chapter of a book, you would do book section and put the editor's name here. So it really keeps up with you as you move along. In some cases, stuff like a call number that's available here will not appear in your actual reference because, of course, it understands that in Chicago Manual Style, you do not put the Library of Congress ISBN in there, right? You just put in the, and this is incorrect now because I changed it. See, that's actually slick. So it changed it because it thought it's a section of a book, which would be in quotations instead of italics for an entire book. So when you go ahead and change it, it updates with you. So now it has in italics, which is correct, and it took out the quotation marks. You cannot beat this. I mean, it's such a great program to do your bibliographies. So what I did was then I created my entire bibliography. The other cool thing is it did alphabetize everything for me. So obviously my Z's are here, my W's are here, and my A's are here. So that was really cool. Again, what I think could be awesome for your classes is teach students about the right citation style. Have them use Zotero because it's something that is going to allow them to see what the formatting is like. So there also is a delete key there. And if you double click here, or is it a single click? I forget. Single click, you can go in and edit any of these. And let's just try to find a popular magazine, because the other cool thing is if it's just a web source that is not like traditionally cited as we would cite, say, journal articles or things in peer-reviewed texts, you could just get the URL. So copy and paste it from here. Take that into Zotero, and Zotero will come up with some of the information. Hit the URL, hit cite, just as we did with our 10 ISBN. And check this out. It got a lot of it. So it got the name, it got the title, the journal, the URL, and it gave you the access date. A lot of the bibliographic reference styles require you to hit the access date. So again, I can go in and edit that and change anything that I don't like if there's some errors and so forth. I've discovered a weird quirk on this that you should just probably know, and I'll show you right here. So sometimes if you type in a reference yourself or you get a reference, you'll get an extra space. So if I put it on their last name, I typed an extra space. Check that out. See that? You got a little extra space there between the last name and the comma, and then of course the first name after it. So if that happens, you see something weird like that formatted, when you click, you can tell, oh, one extra space, whereas here, nope, not an extra space. So I simply hit my delete key, hit done, and then I've solved that. So that's like a little bit of a quirk I discovered in using Zotero. The other thing is that if you're doing anything like with multiple sources in the same year, so for some of my publications down here, I might have, for example, a lot of publications I want to cite from a book that I edited in 2016. but those each maybe need to be cited as separates. And so what you often do in Chicago Manual, and we're talking about bibliographies here, we could also talk about in-text citations, footnotes and endnotes, which under Chicago Manual actually has a totally different style that you have to reformat. So it's one difference to note that also should be explained to students, in-text citation versus bibliographies at the end, or even references cited, which is just the long list of articles. But in any case, I had to give these letters. So what I did for that was I just typed in 2016E, 2016B, and A, and so forth. So I could not find a way to do that. There might be a formatting way because they have so many different fields here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something that would allow you to do that. I just couldn't find it. So this is Zotero. Again, I'm really recommending you use it for your own projects, and really recommend that you use it with your students because it's going to teach them a particular approach to stylizing their bibliographies. As you can see, there are literally 10,000 different styles. I'm going to see if just typed in a random thing, the botany style, the Brazilian Journal of Botany. So even specific to different publishers and journals. So if you want to do it according to the Company and Securities Law Journal, it's available. That's actually pretty slick to have that, 10,000 different styles. So it really will, I think, improve students' efforts with bibliographies and citations, and also it will teach them that there are different stylistic conventions out there, and depending on the discipline that they're writing in, it's a good opportunity to see that there could be different styles for those specific disciplines. So good luck with using Zotero, whether you decide to use the full-fledged app or, as I'm recommending, the Zotero Bib that's found at zotero.org. So that is it today here in Tiny Tech, talking about Zotero, which I think is a real wonderful bibliographic tool that can serve a lot of values, including for our students as you're trying to teach them the importance of correct bibliographic formatting in your writing intensive classes. I'll be back with additional videos in the Tiny Tech video series, and do reach out if you have concerns or comments about this or any of the other content that I'm creating.